So we all know the rumors of Kathleen Kennedy being fired have been going around like crazy. A lot of fans have been calling for her firing on YouTube, on Twitter, and it seemed like Lucasfilm was taking notice. But recently in a Disney shareholders meeting, the CEO of Disney, Bob Chapek, came out and defended Kathleen Kennedy once again. But does this really mean that Kathleen Kennedy's job is safe? A lot of other people are saying yes, but I'm not too sure. Let's get into it. During the shareholders meeting, there were a lot of softball questions given to Bob Chapek, but there were also two very savage questions that I'm really glad got asked. One of the questions being about Kathleen Kennedy and the other being about Gina Carano, which I'll cover in my next video. But the shareholder that called about Kathleen Kennedy straight up asked Bob Chapek if there are any plans to fire her. And he also asked if there are any plans to promote someone like Jon Favreau or Dave Filoni to the president of Lucasfilm. And Bob Chapek responded with this: "We've been absolutely thrilled that we can have the kind of talent in our company, the likes of Kathleen Kennedy, to run Lucasfilm. We look forward to having Kathy directing the activities of the entire Lucasfilm organization for many years to come." Now, for a lot of Star Wars fans, for a lot of other Star Wars YouTubers, this was a real kick in the nuts. But in reality, I really don't know what people were expecting him to say. A couple weeks back, he did the same thing when he called Kathleen Kennedy an absolute treasure. Of course, when a CEO is asked about his employees, he's not going to trash them, especially in a Disney shareholders meeting. If he's in a shareholders meeting and he's asked about an employee's job stability, of course he's going to say that that job is as stable as it can be, because shareholders of companies like stability. And I'm not saying that Kathleen Kennedy is getting fired for sure, I don't know. I'm just saying that if she was going to be fired, if her contract was not going to be renewed, he wouldn't say it 6 months out, because that would cause 6 months of turmoil within Lucasfilm and within the Star Wars fandom. Not to mention the Disney stock would plummet if he would say that one of his studio heads, especially a studio head for Star Wars, is going to be fired in 6 months, because once again, shareholders like stability, and that's the opposite of that. While people like me and you know that if Kathleen Kennedy is fired, Star Wars will become more powerful than you can ever imagine, but the old guys at the shareholders meeting don't know that. The big Disney investors don't know that. They just know that Star Wars makes a lot of money, and firing the president of Lucasfilm wouldn't be a good look. They're not going to say 6 months out that they don't know if they plan on renewing her contract or not, but if they don't renew the contract, when the time comes, they'll just say that they mutually parted ways, because that looks a lot better for the Disney shareholders. But the one thing that actually does worry me about his answer is the fact that he said many years to come, because he really didn't have to say that to give the illusion of job stability for Kathleen Kennedy. He could have just said that we look forward to working with her in the future or something like that. But then I started thinking about who Bob Chapek is. Bob Chapek, a little bit over a year ago, was only overseeing Disney Park. In terms of PR and responding to questions like this, he's not on the level of Bob Iger yet. Bob Iger was extremely quick in his responses and always gave very good responses to these types of questions. Bob Chapek is brand new to this type of thing and probably isn't too comfortable answering these questions yet. So I guarantee you, before this meeting, he had a meeting with a PR manager. I guarantee you he was told if he was asked about any employee, you talk highly of that employee. And I would put money that they mentioned Kathleen Kennedy specifically and said that because she's under so much fire on the internet, you need to specifically talk highly of her. And that's probably what happened in the interview a couple weeks ago as well. It was his time to show stability within Disney and within Lucasfilm, and he really hyped her up. But I really think that that's all a front. And once again, I don't know if she's getting fired. I have no insider info, but I really just think that this comes down to Bob Chapek being a new CEO. He's not comfortable answering these questions yet, and he was told to talk highly of his employees, especially Kathleen Kennedy. And he would have said the same thing about any of his studio heads, and I'm sure all of his studio heads won't be there for many years to come. And I really don't think Kathleen Kennedy will be there either. Another reason why Bob Chapek is so comfortable saying these things and talking so highly of Kathleen is because he thinks the situation going on right now in the Star Wars fandom will blow over. We haven't had any Star Wars projects ever since that happened. What's really going to tell if Kathleen Kennedy will lose her job or not is when Star Wars projects start coming out, how do they perform? How does the Bad Batch perform? But what it's really going to come down to is how does the Book of Boba Fett perform? Because if the Bad Batch doesn't do too well, you can just say that that show wasn't hyped up too much, not many people were excited for it, plus it's animation, so that alienates a part of the fan base. But when the Book of Boba Fett comes out, that's when they'll gauge how worried they should be. And I know the Book of Boba Fett comes out past September, which is when Kathleen's contract ends, but I promise you, money talks at Disney, and if they start losing money on Star Wars, they will make changes. Once again, not calling for boycotts, I'm saying vote with your dollar. If I'm being honest, I'm probably going to watch those shows because I have a Star Wars YouTube channel and I kind of have to. So if you want to watch those shows, go watch those shows. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you believe that Disney doesn't deserve your money right now, if Lucasfilm doesn't deserve your money, then don't give it to him. But I really think this Bob Chapek response just comes down to a PR answer once again. He did this a couple weeks ago as well. He knows his employee is struggling right now in terms of public perception, so he's trying to make that perception look a little bit better. And for us, it's not going to work, but for the shareholders, I'm sure it did help a little. And I'm sure a lot of those shareholders don't even know what's going on with Star Wars right now. He probably just made it look like to them everything is fine within Lucasfilm. And that was his job for that meeting, just portray stability, make it look like everything is fine, and dance around the tough question. And that's exactly what he did. But one point that I don't see a lot of people making is that he didn't say anything about Kathleen's contract. If it was confirmed that Kathleen was extending her contract and that she would be there for many years to come, why wouldn't Bob Chapek just say that? Because I think that would be the ultimate display of stability. Why not just say that we love Kathleen Kennedy and we're happy to announce that she's extended her contract with Lucasfilm? That would be the ultimate answer in my opinion. And he didn't say anything about her contract at all. So for everyone who thinks that we're defeated, that Kathleen Kennedy will actually be there for many years to come, I'm not saying that that's not true, but I'm saying that we still have hope. Star Wars can still be saved. What the CEO says in shareholders meetings about his employees don't mean anything. They will always talk highly of their employees in front of shareholders. But when the time comes for Kathleen Kennedy to leave, they will say that they mutually parted ways. That's how those things work. But what do you guys think? Do you think Kathleen Kennedy's job is safe, or is she still on the ropes? Personally, I think that she's still on the ropes, and I think that they haven't decided if they're renewing her contract or not yet. I think they're waiting for the Bad Batch to come out to see how it performs and to see if Star Wars fans are serious about this situation. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you like this video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. If you want to follow me on Twitter or join the Discord, both of those links will be in the description. But other than that, thank you for watching the video, and I hope to see you on the next one.